Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some stocks on the move today. Joining us now is Bloomberg News Managing Editor for Markets Live, Christine Aquino. She's here in our Bloomberg Interactive Brokers studio. No shortage of stocks for you to choose from today, Christine.
Absolutely, Tim. I mean, that's what we love about volatile markets at the very least. I want to talk about cars today because, of course, we got those comments from President Trump potentially exploring the possibility of temporary exemptions on vehicles. So remember, right, we were supposed to get tariffs on fully built vehicles, so 25%, no later than the 3rd of May. Now, those separate tariffs on Canada and Mexico already including a vehicle carve-out, but that's still a significant amount, right? But now the potential for temporary exemptions, at least, really beefing up those car maker shares today. GM up more than 3% at the close, and Ford up more than 4% at the close.
Yeah, that was a lot. And again, nothing definitive done yet, but it's a reminder that the president might roll back or change his mind on some things, and there might be those carve-outs. Apple, let's talk about Apple. Speaking of carve-outs, they probably had a good weekend. We've talked about this today.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, is it like a weekend of working and you're like, wait a second, is it an exemption? Is it going to be a sectoral tariff?
So maybe it's half a second.
Lobbyists are going to be hard at work, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a good point.
In Washington, I don't know. What is your take?
I mean, I that's exactly it, right? It's kind of, I guess it's temporary relief, but also a lot of questions, right? Like, what does this mean? How long are the carve-outs and exemptions going to be for? I mean, at least for today, investors were taking the Apple-related news, which is a potential exclusion for consumer electronics as well, which is basically Apple's business. That's a positive for investors today. We saw Apple shares up more than 2% at the close. And of course, we had President Donald Trump name-checking Tim Cook personally, saying that, quote, he helped Tim Cook recently and that whole business. And so, it just goes to show, I think, there's still a lot of uncertainty to be had here. Tariffs very much still in the driver's seat when it comes to moving markets. And it just depends, today's an up day. Who knows? Tomorrow might be a down day.
Yeah, and I will say quite a swing for Apple, even in today's session, right? At its highs up about 7.5%. Stayed in the green all day, but just finishing with a gain of just a little bit more than 2%. So not as enthusiastic by the end of the day. And we saw that kind of in the overall trade, right? Some enthusiasm out of the gate today, but very different by the close. Still gains, but not as enthusiastic earlier in the session.
Should we talk tech?
Yeah, let's talk. Well, we just talked tech.
More tech. More big tech. You've heard of big tech.
Now let's go to.
Well, I think actually Apple's actually bigger. So yeah. Let's talk more tech.
Staying with big tech.
Meta, yeah. I mean, that's a stock that's not having a good day today, right? And it's primarily due to their regulatory troubles. The FTC is indeed pushing ahead with that antitrust trial. Mark Zuckerberg taking the stand. And what's at stake here is, of course, 44% of Meta's 2022 revenue because of essentially the case is that some of the acquisitions that Meta has made in the past last few years pretty much to neutralize its rivals. At least that's the case that the FTC is making. But our own Bloomberg intelligence analysts saying that the edge is slightly with Meta here in terms of beating that case because they argue that the FTC will have an uphill climb in proving that those acquisitions were indeed violating antitrust laws.
But got Mark Zuckerberg testifying.
Sheryl Sandberg
is coming up, right?
She's reprising her role.
Yeah.
She's back.
And you just wonder, who's next in terms of big tech, depending on how this one plays out.
Well, Sarah Fryer, we spoke to her earlier, and she said, look, you've got a company like Alphabet with its acquisition of YouTube. So trying to figure that out.
People might be looking at that. Can I go back to Apple for a moment?
Absolutely.
Do you know from its high to its lows? I know. I'm just going.
What are you doing?
I know.
Cheryl?
I've got kind of that Monday brain. So the high was back in late December 2024, last year, and the low we hit in April, early April. No surprise, April 8th, down 33% in that time frame. Am I messing something up? I don't think so.
I'm going to double check your work.
Yeah,
33.36%. Carol Master is correct.
Yeah, that's amazing. A third haircut.
Yeah, that's.
Well, it's just Sorry, I'm just trying to get my head around that for Apple.
It's still down roughly 20% from those all-time highs, even with the bounce that we've seen.
This is what we do,
over the
Christine.
last
We get
week.
lost in playing in the Bloomberg terminal. Just looking at
I
swings.
mean, the Bloomberg terminal is a treasure trove of all these fun facts. I don't blame you.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.